And we're live. Yeah, there we go. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. This is Monkey in the Morning. I'm Monk. Y'all know the deal. Hope you're well. Hope everybody's having a great day. I am cold and sore and finally rested. The whole reason we didn't have a show yesterday, I've been in pain. I knew it was coming, uh, but I couldn't sleep, and not sleeping makes everything so much worse. But I finally got some sleep today, and so we're here. We're here to catch up and talk about the going ons over the last several days, and have a laugh or two. I hope. For the record, yes, there are two different YouTube streams. It's not YouTube being dumb. It's actually StreamYards. They have a new thing where you can have two orientations, both portrait and landscape. And I thought, what the hell? Let's see what happens. And apparently, this is what happens. Probably be the only time we ever do it this way, but I just wanted to test it, you know. Before we get any further along, it was Myrai, I think is how you say that, Vegeta's birthday. They said, "Can I get a birthday song, Monk? I even left a cat pic in your DMs as a bribe. Thank you so much for the donation. And sorry I wasn't on yesterday, but Myrai, I'm just gonna call you Vegeta because I can pronounce that. Vegeta, this one's for you. And a one, and a two. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vegeta. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hope you have a good one. I really, really do. Okay. I'm being told there's separate chats. Shit. So now I gotta open up YouTube. Don't worry, people are still coming in from the ads and stuff. So I don't know which chat I already have going. I think pause that. It's probably not this one. So this is so stupid. This is so stupid. I should have just I knew I should have just done it in one. Oh, this is the other chat. There. Okay. I can close all this other crap. So, guys, don't get used to this. The portrait view doesn't help us with the way we do things. I mean, you only get that tiny little picture of Phoebe. Just watch the big one and turn your phone sideways. The hell's wrong with people? Why is that so hard for people? Why do I need a portrait mode? Just turn your damn phone so you can. It's not like we're in the flip phone days anymore. Anyway, this is landscape. That doesn't help me because the conversations are coming through all at the same time in StreamYards. We're good though. I popped out the chat. I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm gonna be able to read three chats at once. I can't do two for Christ's sake. Just go watch it on the normal broadcast. There we go. All right. So the biggest news of the day, the biggest news today was the Democrats' shame. Finally, we have a conclusion to the nonsense going on in our Congress. Yesterday, or technically for me, 2 days ago now, a bunch of Democrat senators went, "This looks really bad for us. Maybe we should stop." And 8 of them got together and said, "You know what? We're going to reopen the government on the clean CR." And so they had their cloture vote, and lots of people like, "Oh, it's reopened." No, not yet. All that did was make it so they could get to the final vote. And on the final vote, that took place basically all day today, with all kinds of dumbass amendments being put forward and shot down and put forward and shot down. And then finally, maybe around 10 p.m. tonight, they had the final vote. And yeah, so the government is reopening. And we got to see Senator Collins be like, "We did it." And yeah, so everything's reopening. And if you're due back pay, you'll get your back pay. If you're not due back pay, then you probably still get it because we give money to everything these days. But I saw something that just made me laugh my ass off. It was a moron on Twitter telling me how this was a win for the Democrats. Dun, dun. For the record, there's a ton of Democrats out there right now saying that Schumer should step down because he's not a good leader. But don't worry, guys. It is a total win for the Democrats. Thank you, government. Everyone missed me while I was on vacation. I've decided, but I have good news. Once again, I'm here to help. Well, thank you, government. We look forward to your continued help. 41 days. The Democrats shut down our government for 41 days. And I'm just going to be honest with you. If they'd been like, hey, we're spending too much money, we need to spend less, I would have been on their side. I would have been there going, yeah, we're spending too much. Keep this shit locked down. But they were locking it down so that they could spend more money. Hoko, thank you. An article said it's a more clean CR passed. I did not see that, and I don't know what they mean by more clean. Look, the CR literally is just like, hey, go on ahead. We're going to keep paying for what we're paying for right now. Thank you. 3 chats. You can't read one. Crayons and cake for all Marines today. 250th birthday, Semper Fi. Happy birthday, Marine Corps. I knew it was coming up. I didn't realize it was today. Yeah, look, guys. I'm probably just going to be ignoring the chat that is in the portrait view there. Sorry, I'll be doing the other one. So anyway, it was yesterday. Hoko says, okay, yesterday. Happy birthday, Marines. Let's talk about the fallout of this. The Democrats should be riding high off of, even if they were predictable, but election wins. They should be riding high off those wins from this last week. And instead, you had them still getting their ass kicked with the people, not with the media, because the media is always on their side. But the people were like, you guys did this. We can see who voted to open the government. You're the people who said over and over and over again that there's never a reason to close down the government, that it's irresponsible, it harms people, and you guys are the ones that done it. This is what the Republicans have never gotten about shutting down the government. If you're the obstructionist one, even if you're in the right, you're going to be blamed. You're going to be blamed, and you're going to deserve it because you are the ones who did it. Now, as much as I would like to see our government shut down and actually reformed and stuff, the optics of it and the reality of the optics of it is that many Americans think that the government is here to be their mommy and daddy. And when you take away mommy and daddy's love, i.e. free money, they're going to lose their shit and blame you and punish you for it. There is no win in this for the Democrats, especially when you had somebody like Schumer come out just the other day and say every day that this drags on is a win for us. I forget his exact wording, but that's what he said. I forget the term he used. I don't think he said win because he's like 900 years old. But basically that every day it drags on was a good thing for Democrats. Meanwhile, you got people being like, I'm going to rob Walmart because I can't feed my kids. Do you think a woman like that who says that kind of nonsense and like, I got to go steal to get my free shit for my kids is going to look at Schumer saying this is a win for me and not punish him for it? The reality of the shutdowns and the reason Republicans always get blamed is because they have been the obstructionist ones up until this shutdown. The Democrats have been pretty smart about it, and I'm not saying good leaders, optically smart in not letting that happen to their side until this time. And then they're like, we're going to hold the line. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, so we'll just blame it on them. Doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So optically, this was an absolutely horrible disaster for the Democrats. And their concession is that they're going to get a vote on the ACA subsidies in December, which it's only a vote in the Senate, and he'll ignore all 3. What? How dare you? I'm reading what you say right there. How dare you? Where do I send a cat picture? You just send it to my DMs on Twitter. And if I'm not following you so you can't send me DMs, just hit me up and let me know, and I'll follow you so you can. I cheated today and just went with a Phoebe one because I waited until the last minute to pull up a kitty picture. But look how cute she is, so it's okay. Look, I was so lucky to get that picture. She doesn't even drink out of the faucet anymore. It's kind of sad because it was one of the ways I like to spoil her. Anyway, so yeah, our government is reopened, and there's not a lot more to say about it other than, you dumbasses, you fucking morons. You're only getting a Senate vote out of it. There was no promise of a vote in the House on ACA subsidies, which it has to go through. And yeah, so good job. You guys just drug this out and drug your reputation through the mud over nothing. Over nothing. We have to have our leverage. Well, you need to have your leverage, but without, shooting yourself in the foot. Okay, it would be one thing if the ACA subsidies had already lapsed and people suddenly got this big rate increase, from the Affordable Care Act. Which, guys, have you noticed how the word affordable is being thrown around everywhere? It's the affordability crisis. Connect, thank you so much. Government has not reopened yet, waiting on the House. Yes, the House has to approve this, but wait, does the House have to approve this? Did the Senate change it at all? Because the House only has to approve it if the Senate changed it. If the Senate didn't change it, I mean, and even if it does go to the House, they're going to rubber stamp this because it's the same bill that they had put forward. So it's not technically opened yet, but it will be, and it's got to be signed by the president still. But for all, look, Connect. Don't be up here being more semantic than I am, bastard. How dare you? How dare you? The Democrats opened the government, so they had the power to open the government, meaning they had the power to close it. Yeah, look, this is the smart thing for Democrats going forward, to be like, we opened the government, we did what was right for the people. Forget the last 41 days, but we did what was right for you. Monkey, you need to follow me on Twitter. Oh, okay. Just say hi to me on Twitter, and I'll do that. Tag me and say hi. Their only real win here that they might be able to come away with is to say, hey, we gave you back your food stamps. We gave you your food stamps, damn it. Aren't you happy with that? The problem is people already know you as the ones who took it away. And no matter what the press has tried doing, repeating the Democratic talking points of the Republicans control everything. We understand, at least people have a rudimentary understanding of how the whole situation works. So I don't know how successful it'll be. I really don't. But I do think that that's their only play here. They have another play. Ignore it. Just pretend it never happened. That is their only other play. They can either be like, we fix things for you, or I don't know what you're talking about. What? Those are their only two ways to go. So there is that, ladies and gentlemen. The biggest news of the day. The government is reopening. Not opened yet, Connect, fucker. But it is reopening with the Senate approval of it. I was watching it. This is true. So Lady Monkey wanted to do some online Christmas shopping, and she, hey, can we do it at your computer? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. So I had the Senate playing over on the second screen, and she was using the first screen, and she's listening to the roll call. And how many of you guys watched Third Rock from the Sun? Any of you guys know? Do you guys know who Judith was in Third Rock from the Sun? My wife, she goes, oh my God, she sounds like Judith from Third Rock from the Sun, who is a very monotone figure. Very, very funny reference if you get it. But I told her, I'm like, baby, this is what I do with my time. I sit here and watch incredibly boring shit and then have to figure out a way to try to make it seem interesting. Notice we're not watching any of the video of that shit. I've never seen it. I'm not old. Evolved. If you've never seen Third Rock from the Sun, watch it. It holds up very well. Especially like the first 3 seasons. There's a problem with fish out of water tales like that where you run out of ideas. I mean, talking at the time, 20 plus episodes per season. By the time you get to episode 60, you'd think the galaxy spanning aliens would have been able to pick up on some of our stuff by then. Like they actually get surprised by Christmas. They get surprised by Thanksgiving on the day of. But anyway, it's still a fun show, and some of the humor in that show is amazing. All right, let's move on to more important things. We got to talk about Hasan Piker. We've got to talk about this moron. Now, I want to preface what we're about to talk about with allegedly. Thank you, Bola. The episode where they bought stocks. Yes, and then they go to the company at the end because it crashes. Third Rock from the Sun was brilliant. All right. This is allegedly, and because it's allegedly and there's no proof offered, I'm not going to harp on Hasan too much on this because I have a bigger fish to fry here. It's the same fish we've been frying for a while, and one that might come a little bit to light now that Congress is reopened and the House Oversight Committee will be back in session. And we might actually get to see Dan Clancy's ass pulled up in front of Congress to answer some questions about why he let such horrible shit take place on his platform. But this is Destiny who said, if Hasan is going to reach this hard and say that I kickstarted Fuentes' career, then I'm responsible for his career 10 times over. We'll get to the allegation in a second. I just want to address that. 100% true. Before Nick ever started hanging out with Destiny for that 2 weeks or so that it happened, Fuentes already had a following online. Before Hasan starts hanging out with Destiny, he has no presence online. Nobody gives a shit about Hasan at all. Destiny made Hasan. Make no mistake about that. But anyway, he says this. Also, Hasan fucked a 15-year-old girl when he was visiting the brothel in Berlin. That's why he doesn't like to talk about it as much now. What? Okay. He offers no proof of this. In fact, he does have a follow-up tweet where he says, where was it? It's common knowledge behind the scenes. If Hasan wants to contest it, he can sue me, but he won't because truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Offers no proof, but this does go back to a problem we've talked about with these streaming communities over and over and over and over again. One, if Hasan did this, technically it'd be legal in Germany, where the brothel was. He goes and bangs a 15-year-old prostitute. In Germany, it's illegal, or it's legal. You know what's illegal? To go to another country to have sex with what would be an underage person in the United States under prostitution. Actually, it's what rape, coercion, or prostitution is what the law says. You cannot travel for that. So if you did that, it's absolutely a crime. I don't know that he did that. Again, there is no proof of this. But if he did, this is a fucking felony. Michael, thank you. That brothel was well known for child exploitation back when it happened. Nobody cared back then. Well, the thing, look, there's a lot of rumor, speculation. That brothel had some one, you're Hasan Piker. Why are you paying for sex? This is years and years ago, but he still had enough money he could have paid for sex here or, just gotten a girlfriend. But when it comes to what happened at that brothel, there were some allegations of sex trafficking of children. To my understanding, that has never been borne out. There was a whole other investigation that went along with it, and the brothel got in trouble for other things, mostly tax evasion stuff, if I remember correctly. But the actual humpity hump stuff with little kids, as far as I remember, that's not been proven. But again, you have to understand that the age of consent over there is 14. 14. So in order for them to have underage prostitutes over there, unless they have a law against 14-year-olds selling it, it would have to be even younger than that. The allegation here, though, is that it was a 15-year-old, which by German law would be legal. Why is it 14? They're German. They're known for poop porn. You don't expect anything non-gross from them, do you? Anyway, my bigger problem here, this is horrible. And if it's borne out to be true, then that will be my big problem. But until we get some proof of this stuff, Destiny has not spoken to Hasan for years. Spitballing it here, probably at least 4 years, right? For at least 4 years. And for at least 4 years, you've had information supposedly that this man had sex with a 15-year-old, and you waited until now to bring it up? You sat on that for 4/10 of a decade? You sat on that for 40% of a decade, at least? At the very, and I doubt the last conversation they had was, oh, by the way, I banged a 15-year-old when I flew to Germany to get a prostitute. So probably a decade or so you've known this shit, and you just bring it up now because Hasan said you kickstarted Fuentes' career? That's what finally pushed you to the point to go, oh, by the way, he banged a kid? The fuck is wrong with these people? Why is that something that, and I've said this about these, none of these people are ever surprised when this stuff happens. You expect morality from Destiny? No, it's not just Destiny, though. It's not just Destiny. It's from all of these assholes. Look how many, when the Mizkif stuff happened not that long ago, where Emaru comes out and says that he'd been abusive to her, and he comes out and he goes, I'm burning everybody down with me. You could hear the collective buttholes of the Twitch streamers just go tight. Like you could stick coal in there and make a diamond in half an hour. Because all of these fucking people have dirt on each other over really nasty shit. And they only ever bring it out when one of them gets ostracized. They finally are like, oh, by the way, I know that he did this horrible shit too. And this is stuff I've been paying attention to for my whole career on YouTube. And eventually you start to see this pattern where horrible stuff comes out about people. And all of the people who were friends, all of the people in that group were like, yeah, I knew about that. Yep, we all knew what he was doing. I didn't say anything because I didn't think it was my place. And what they're really doing is just covering because they know that there's a good chance there's going to be some backlash at them for pointing out that the popular guy, I'm using air quotes, is a shitbag. He's a complete shitbag. Again, I don't know if Hasan did this. Would I be shocked to find out it's true? No, not even a little bit. And do I expect Hasan to address this honestly? No. Do I think he's going to sue Destiny over it? No. I really don't think he's going to. And this would definitely be one to sue over. I mean, basically, Destiny is accusing him of a federal felony. This is a federal felony. This isn't just your state court. You're going to Leavenworth over shit like this. You ain't going to no Club Med kind of prison. You go into the big house. So if you were ever going to sue somebody for some defamation, this is the one. And this isn't any allegedly even. He didn't even pull the allegedly. He just flat out says it. Hasan fucked a 15-year-old when he went to a brothel in Germany, which, yeah, by the way, that would be a federal felony. So again, I don't know if Hasan did this. I wouldn't be shocked. I would be more shocked to find out he didn't, if I'm being honest. But why do they all sit on this stuff? Why? And this isn't even like, with Trump and Epstein, right? Trump finds out Epstein's doing horrible shit and he breaks ties with him. They didn't break ties over this. They broke ties because they had a minor political disagreement. At the very least, somebody comes to you and goes, yeah, I engaged in international sex travel with a child. That should be the breaking point of your fucking friendship, shouldn't it? At the very least. At the very least, shouldn't that be when you're like, yeah, I can't be friends with. I'm not going to tell the world about it. Probably should. I'm not going to tell the world about it, but we can't be friends anymore. Now, look, I'm me, so I would tell the world about it. But if these people don't want to, put their reputations on the line for it, that's fine. But we're finding out in the streamer communities that all of these people are just Epstein's. Or not Epstein, sorry, Weinsteins. They're all just Weinstein. Well, it's an open secret in the background. We all knew it was happening. I mean, we saw this with the Mizkif Emaru stuff. Like, we all knew he was kind of a douche to her. And none of y'all did shit. None of y'all said fuck all. Why did Pixie negotiate with Destiny over a cash payout instead of reporting him to the police when the vids got leaked? Because you don't get any money for reporting him to the police. And I mean, yeah. Depending on what state it all happens in, too. In California, it used to be you had to go through the criminal trial before you could have your civil trial and the kind of stuff. But because of Michael Jackson, they actually changed the laws so that you could do them beforehand. And so it also depends on jurisdiction. And she also said that in Pixie's statements that she wanted to punish him. She wanted him to be punished so he doesn't do this stuff again. And let's be honest, if he went through the court, they decided criminal charges on him, he's getting a slap on the hand for that. He's getting a slap on the hand for putting out her videos. They're not going to throw him in jail for a year over that. He'll get probation. And I mean, rapists get probation most of the time these days anyway. So yeah, she wanted to punish him. So can't say I really blames her there. If you want to punish somebody like Destiny, it's definitely by going after his money. All right, what else do we have on our docket? Where's the other Hasan thing? We got to talk about this. Oh, this dirty motherfucker. Okay, so what's on your screen right there? Hang on, let's let that play for a second. There we go. This is Hasan Piker. On the phone, there's a picture of Chairman Mao. Y'all know who he is, Mao Zedong, the communist shitbag who ruined China. And this is Hasan glazing him on his stream here. Like, look. In Tiananmen Square. He's in fucking Tiananmen Square holding up a positive thing about Mao. I knew the guy was a douche. Why are you even surprised? Isn't Hasan a Muslim? At least she was over the age of 9. Fair enough. I don't think highly of this guy to begin with. I think he's a liar. I think that liar's probably the nicest thing I can say about him. But to go to Tiananmen Square, where the military violently put down a protest. This is Hasan who likes to cover, wait a minute, you're trying to shut us down and not allow free expression and assembly, when people are rioting in our streets, not protesting, rioting. And you went to where students peacefully protested the communist government. And you were praising Mao, you absolute shitbag. Zhang, I wasn't saying Mao was responsible for Tiananmen. Mao gave them the communism that the students in Tiananmen Square were rising up against. Mao made this, Mao set the stage for what eventually happens in Tiananmen. Go back and listen. I promise you, I did not say Mao was in charge at the time. Of all of the dirty, nasty shit I've seen this guy do, abusing his dog, calling for murder, this is in the top 10 of just disrespectful shit. This is, you dickhead motherfucker. This is the guy that'll tell you, how dare you say communists are going to do bad stuff. You are in Tiananmen Square. By the way, the police stopped him for this, by the way. That's what this video is, because the police wanted to make sure he was being kind to Chairman Mao. That day, hey, make sure the horrible shit you're saying is good. Unfortunately, they didn't arrest him and throw him into a communist prison where his bitch ass belongs. He's already been re-educated, so they don't need to re-educate his commie little ass. But how fucking disrespectful is that to those students, man? Those guys actually put their lives on the line. Many of them reportedly have been killed since then. And your bitch ass is there glazing Mao. You're a cunt. I know YouTube doesn't like me using that word, but you're a cunt. And Hasan, sincerely, I hope bad things happen to you. I hope you end up losing all your money and living on a bridge, sucking dick for Gucci money, because you are a horrible person. You are just a bad, bad person. What else do we got going on in the world today? I don't care about that. Oh, I like this one because people say Mondani's policies wouldn't be accepted across the country. And YouGov did a poll and it said, would you support or oppose the following? Raising taxes on corporation and millionaires, and 52% support, 17 somewhat support, and somewhat oppose and strongly oppose only get a combined 24%. This is another one of those times where it's like, do you support abortion? Well, for the last 50 years, people have been told abortion is a right and that every woman should be allowed to do it. And then you act surprised when more than half of the people say, yes, they should be allowed to do it. It's how propaganda works. We've been hearing nothing for the last fucking 3 decades about how much the rich need to pay more and corporations need to pay more, get more and more and more. And then you're like, look, they say that they want to tax the millionaires more. Shocking. Goes on to say, implementing free childcare for every child aged 6 weeks to 5 years. That is 42% strongly and 24% somewhat. Raising the minimum wage to $30 by 2030, 39% strongly, 17% somewhat. I do question who they asked. I'm just going to be honest, because I don't think anybody who can do math is actually involved in this scenario. Freezing rent or lower income tenements. I don't know why you want to freeze the it's poorly worded. I hope they don't actually mean freezing people. I'm guessing they want to freeze the rents. Yeah, freezing rent doesn't help anything. It really doesn't. It actually makes housing crises worse. We've seen it over and over again. Stop. But this isn't why I wanted to highlight it, because they did not highlight this part, which is my favorite part of the poll. This is from the same YouGov poll. It was just put out on Monday. Would you ever vote for a candidate who identified as a democratic socialist? Yes, 31%. No, 46%. They love his policies, but they never vote for him. You only need 5 more percent of the 23% that are not sure to say no to lose. But don't worry, guys. Everybody supports his policies. They all support his policies. Oh, for fuck's sake. People are dumb. And look, the reality is the left, the commies, they're winning the argument right now. This is why affordability is such a big talking point. We need affordability. It's all about the affordability. Nobody pays attention to what's causing the affordability issues. Demonstrably, healthcare costs in America are higher than they were pre-Obamacare. That's just true. Healthcare premiums are higher. Healthcare costs are higher. All of it's higher with the Affordable Care Act because we need affordability. Food prices are higher because of food stamps, because the grocery stores know that they're going to get a set amount of your money every fucking week. Every month, bunch of people get it. They go and spend it. And the grocery store is like, well, we ain't got to lower prices. Stuff's is getting off the shelf. Instead of prices ever coming down, we just increase how much people get for food stamps to cover the rising costs. And then the costs go up again. And they're like, wait a minute. If you increase demand, then prices go up? What? How'd that happen? That's not economics. That's not the most basic principle of economics. But you can't explain this shit to people. Because the people who are so involved in this. I watched Ben Shapiro on trigonometry. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was watching the first part of it. And even Constantine, he's like, but don't you think the affordability is an issue and that we need affordability because affordability? And Ben's like, what the fuck are you talking about? All you people talking about, and Ben actually used one of my talking points. The whole problem with, hey, my grandparents had it so much easier. Chances are, no, first of all. But if you want to go to what your grandparents did, go live like your grandparents and see if you can afford what they afforded at the time. Chances are you can. You'll probably think you're living like the Amish, though, because you're not going to have $1,000 computer in your pocket 24/7 because your grandparents didn't have that. If you wanted to know the capital of Kathmandu, is Kathmandu a country? No, it's a city, isn't it? The capital of Dubai. There we go. You don't know the capital of Dubai? You couldn't just reach into your pocket and pull it. You had to take your ass down to the library and look that shit up if you didn't know anybody who could answer it. Go ahead, go live like your grandparents. But we have such a spoiled fucking society that they're all like, no, I deserve everything. You don't deserve shit. Shut up. Shut up. Grandparents knew how to go without. Grandparents had to go without. That's the difference. Isn't Dubai a city? I thought Dubai was I don't fucking know. I suck at geography. Oh, it's also a city. Okay. My bad. I don't fucking care. You know what point I was making. If you wanted to know the capital of Georgia, there. I got you on country, state, and probably a city somewhere too. Leave me alone. Anyway, the reality is you don't live like your grandparents, so you can't really compare yourself to them. And if you go back just a generation, and this is something that Ben brings up. My grandparents come from the either the lost or the greatest generation. It depends on which grandparents you're talking about, which one they actually qualify for. They were not running out and buying houses in the city. One, most of the cities aren't what they are now anyway. They weren't getting a home on the cheap and making it and having a two-car family with a TV in every room. None of that shit happened to your great-great-grandparents, which would be my grandparents. There's a very select time in American history coming out of World War II, going into the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where you had this real boom, of stuff where people could get manufactured housing really cheaply. And they were stick built. We're not what we call manufactured today. But these pre-designed houses that you could have somebody run in and cheaply throw together for you with less than 1,000 square feet in downtown Los Angeles. That time was very small, very small. It's not like a huge part of our history, but it is something that has happened recently, and it's all these people know and point to. Look, my grandparents bought a whole 400-acre farm for $3.75 in 1902. Well, go do that then. Go find a cheap piece of crap land somewhere. Yeah, it won't be $3. It'll be adjusted for inflation. But all of these fucking people, there's a clip going around of Ben Shapiro on trigonometry where he's talking about in the United States, if you can't afford to live there, move. And it's put out there like, look how uncaring he is. And that's not what he's saying. He's saying in throughout American history, if people couldn't afford to live somewhere, they moved to another state where they could, or even another city in the same state where they could. And instead, you have people these days like, and fuck, it's not even these days. This has been going on for a little while and getting worse and worse. I remember reading Judge Judy's book, and this is before she gets her show. I just happened to find it in the library one day and read it. And she was talking about how she used to do a lot of like family court stuff. And this little girl comes up before her who demands she should be allowed to live in Manhattan, one of the most expensive places on the entire planet to live. She's got no job. She's on assistance. But damn it, she deserves to live in Manhattan. And Judge Judy ripped her the riot act, talking about how her and her husband worked their asses off to get enough money to be able to live in Manhattan. So why should you just deserve it? But that's what we see from people. I deserve this. I should have the same thing my parents did. Well, your parents weren't useless layabouts. Okay, today's generation might be because we're starting to get into millennials having children. But your grandparents weren't useless shitbags getting degrees in underwater feminist basket weaving. They went out there and they got fucking jobs. There's not any job. There's tons of jobs. Go pick some fruit. I hear there's plenty of openings in that. I'm just tired of whiny bitches. Are things more expensive? A little bit, yeah, but look at what more you have. Understand how far we've come in the last century. Since 1920, do you guys realize how much this country has changed? How much your life as an American has changed since 1924? America is a completely different place. We got indoor plumbing like everywhere. My dad grew up without indoor plumbing. He was born in 1950. He grew up without indoor plumbing. How many people do you know today in America are growing up without indoor plumbing? Anyway, what else do I have? Oh, let's keep on our theme. Kathy Hochul, sorry, I'm supposed to pronounce that the Hochul, excuse me, slams brakes on Zohran Mamdani's free New York City bus plans. Takes money out of a system that relies on fares. Dun, dun, dun. She didn't say this before the election. Isn't it funny she waited until after the election to point out, oh, if you do that, we can't afford this. They pay their bus drivers with the fare money. They buy the buses with the fare money. They repair the buses with the fare money. They put gas in the buses with the fare money. And he's like, we're going to do it all for free. And a bunch of dumbass New Yorkers all went, yay. And now that the election's over and that he's guaranteed his spot, he gets told no. This is another thing that Ben brought up on trigonometry. The best case scenario for Zorhan, he apparently gets mad when people say his name wrong. Zorhan Mamdani. The best case scenario for him is for all of his policies to fail to pass, not to fail in implementation. The best thing for me would be for him to be able to pass all of this stuff, to pass free bus fare, free subway rides, free apartments, taking over buildings if he doesn't like how the landlord's doing shit, grocery stores run by the city. All of it is best for me as somebody who hates all of this shit if he gets it implemented, because it'll be a horrendous clusterfuck. It will be a ridiculous disaster that New York City will not recover from for a generation. And it's why I want it all to happen. Best case for him, though, is for the city council, the governor, whoever can, to stop him from all of his promises. And the reason for that is because then he gets to go, we didn't get to implement it right. Sean, Actual Justice Warrior, has been making a similar point that Mamdani has built-in excuses for failing. I mean, as a communist, he already has it. Remember, communism has never failed. It's just never been implemented right. So yeah, that is the built-in excuse for all communism. But in this case, I mean, now he has the governor coming out and telling him he can't do it. So look, he's already been shut down by those capitalists. And for the record, Democrats. I don't want to see what you guys are going to do to our country, but I do want you guys to keep moving further left, because we're going to have examples like Mamdani's New York. I mean, we've already seen, where was it? Kansas City? Who was it that has the not government necessarily run grocery store, but it basically is, and it's out of food all the time and it stinks, because that's what happens when you have the government run shit. It is in my best interest for this little commie cocksucker to get his way. Kansas, thank you. But the reality is he probably won't get most of the stuff that he wants, because the people that are in charge still have to run things. We see this a lot with people who make massive promises during their elections, like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. They're just not doing it right. And whether it's in the presidency or a governorship or a mayoral area, a mayoral race, they get into power, and all these things they promise, they look at the books and go, oh, fuck, we can't do that. And then they always have a million excuses for why they couldn't. There's a million excuses for why they couldn't get something done. And the reality of it is, when they said it, they might have meant it. They might have wanted to do that, but they just didn't have the understanding of what they were talking about. I don't like how much our government spends, but the truth of the matter is, you're not going to move the needle too far left or right under most circumstances, because we have a adversarial system. And even though our federal government has an unlimited amount of money that they print, at some point the bill comes due. And at some point, somebody has to be the grown-up in the room and say, we can't afford that. Anyway. The Stevie Nicks thing was going around again today. Let's go ahead and this is one of the grossest things I've ever seen. I don't know if this is a new telling of this, but she said it before.
I got pregnant, and it was like, why? I have an IUD. I am totally protected. I have a great gynecologist. How come this has happened?
So you
Because you had sex, dummy. Is she old enough to have had an IUD? Or young enough? When did IUDs become a thing?
took
the
all the
heck?
precautions.
Yes. And I'm like, this can't be happening. Fleetwood Mac is 3 years in, and it's big. And we're going into our third album. It was like, oh, no, 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 no. It would have destroyed Fleetwood Mac.
She's making the case that it was okay to kill her baby because it would have destroyed Fleetwood Mac. Okay.
If you had a baby.
Absolutely. Because many reasons. I would have like tried my best to get through, you know, being in the studio.
We're on our third album. We're horribly successful. There's no way I could have raised a kid with money and fame. You know, it's not like that chick who works at the Burger King who gets knocked up by the fry guy. She can make it. Doing it as a popular member of a very, for the record, I fucking hate Fleetwood Mac. I think their music is garbage. My wife loves them, and I put up with it when she wants to listen to it because I'm a nice guy. But I fucking hate their music, and I hate Goat Girl here. And the first time I heard her say this fucking stupid shit, it just reminds me of a Faustian deal. Like, you can kill my kid if I can be famous. She was already famous at this time. Her original telling of this doesn't have the Fleetwood Mac had already been famous. Thank you, Michael. Fleetwood Mac isn't worth the gum on my shoe, let alone the life of a child. Yeah, look, even if you look, I loved Prince, but I wouldn't be like, yeah, kill that kid so Prince could be a thing, because that's fucking stupid. There's no music good enough to kill a child so that we can have it.
Every single day, expecting a child, but mostly having a child with Don Henley would not have gone over big in Fleetwood Mac with Lindsay and me, who we'd been broken up for 2 or 3 years. It would have been a nightmare scenario for me to live through.
It takes
The members of your band would have punished you or your child for who you had the child with, and you decided to kill that child to keep those people from being a little upset. And then you decided those are the kind of people you want to be around for the rest of your life, that you want to go on tour with. Like, having a baby with Don Henley, it wouldn't have gone over well because the guy that I used to date would have been mad about it. So I killed the kid, and I kept hanging out with the guy who would have punished me or the child over who his dad was. Because he was the good guy. This is an old story. Yeah, I mentioned that at the beginning of this, that this has been out there. I just want you guys to think about the thinking behind that. To appease somebody who may have been mean to her or a child, she killed the child and continued hanging out with them. That's a reasonable thing in her mind. Why didn't you put it up for adoption? Like, hey, she had to sing like a goat. This is insanity. And this is the stuff. Hey, women should have the right to make their own choices. No, because the bitch goes out to the woods to hang out with bears. This is the equivalent of I'm going to go hang out with the bears. God damn. I don't understand. I really don't. All right, what else do I have today? Oh, I don't care about that one. Don't care about that one. Oh, yeah, I guess we should watch this one. Okay. Look, there's 2 ladies I want to talk about later. And somebody remind me I said that because I will forget. But that's only because I forgot about this lady. This is a refuse fascism protester And I think she's Native American.
I don't care about your race. Your race and your empire will die. And you know what? All of this land will come right back to us. And
If something happens that destroys the American empire, you really think Indians are going to survive that? You think if the white man, let's be honest with what she's saying here, you think the white man goes down, Native Americans are just going to suddenly flourish? That they won't be wiped out with whatever took out the white guy? What?
I guarantee you, all my people.
Aren't we all people? Aren't we all human
You
beings?
don't treat us like human beings.
Well, you just said you don't care about us.
I don't. I really
She's not treated like a human being. She's wearing new shoes. It's not the most well put together, but Western clothing, a flag. I'm assuming did Indians have flags before we got over here? Didn't y'all have like totems and shit? Everything about you screams Western. Not a single fucking thing, except maybe your skin color, which could go any way. I mean, let's be honest, your ancestors were Chinese. Nothing about you screams anything other than West. Thank you, Spider McGee. We shouldn't allow celebrities this. We shouldn't know celebrities this well. Oh, well, yeah. We're fascinated by celebrities. I don't know why. They had leather. Yeah, they sure as fuck didn't have that kind of cloth. Some might have had flags made out of human skin. You're probably not wrong about that.
don't. We're going to continue to grow while your race dies off. And that's what it really is your white supremacy. You are so scared that
You're going to continue to grow while we die off.
You're so scared that your women aren't having children. That's why you're trying to ban abortion.
I just want to remind you that the overwhelming majority of abortions are performed on Black women. Black women make up over half of abortions in all the U.S. They make up 6% of the population and half of the abortions. But we're trying to ban abortion so that white chicks have babies. We are definitely not doing this racism thing right. We're not doing this white supremacy thing right. Get rid of abortion so Black people have more babies so the white race can take over. Wait a minute. That doesn't math. That's why you're trying to. This is the kind of person who has just enough knowledge to be really stupid. I actually prefer ignorant people because they don't know what they don't know. This person knows that abortion kills babies and that some people are trying to get rid of it. And that's all she knows. And that must be because white people don't want white kids killed. If you're a racist, you should be for abortion. Seriously, this is a true stat, and I don't know if it's still true this year, but at least for like 4 years running, there were more Black kids aborted in New York than born in New York. That is true. More Black kids aborted than born. And they're like, what? What's the problem? It's not racist. There is no place where that's true for whites. There's no place where it's true that more white kids are aborted than born. But you guys just want to get rid of it so you can have more little white babies. You're fucking stupid, lady. Anyway.
Y'all want y'all white women to have children because your race is dying off. Mine is
Are you
growing.
happy about that?
I don't.
It is kind of funny to me to see a Native American. I'm a Native American. I was born in America. But an indigenous person. Wait, I'm indigenous. I was born. I'm from here. Shit. Indians. Let's call them what they are. It's funny to me to watch Indians be like, your race is dying off. You want to look at the stats on that, lady? You want to see which one of our races is disappearing the fastest? Because it ain't mine. And I just want to remind y'all, I don't give a shit about your race. I really don't. This woman is being fucking racist, and fuck this racist lady. But if you really want to get into which one is dying off, it's not the honkies, yo. We crackers are still breeding. Why are we watching two retards? Because it's funny to me. You're native but not indigenous as long as there are Indians. You don't know that Indians are indigenous. In fact, if you want to talk about what's indigenous, as far as we know about continental drift and the origins of humanity, there are no indigenous Americans. If you want to be honest in that way, you got to call them the first settlers, because nobody is from here. Everybody who's come to America has come from somewhere else, as far as we know. There are no indigenous Americans. There are no Native Americans, if that's the standard we're using. If you want to say they were the first ones here, I mean, that's in doubt too, but you can say that. But indigenous, nobody's from here. Then nobody is indigenous. Yeah, we're not. The whole thing about indigenous is just stupid. It's literally just the first people we know were there. That's it. That's what it means these days. Look at Australia with the indigenous people. They ain't from there. The fuck are you talking about? You're gonna tell me that abos sprung out of monkeys there? There's no evidence of that at all. They came from island hopping. They might have been the first ones to island hop and land there before the British decided to turn it into a penal colony. But that doesn't make them indigenous in the in the way indigenous is technically defined. We've had to redefine it, be like, oh, the first peoples. I will at least give the Canadians a little bit of credit for calling them first peoples, because they are the first people that we know of that were there. And that's fine. You want to call them that? That's fine. But I am a Native American. I am indigenous to this place. It's where my peoples is from. Anyway, but yeah, I'm not giving them credit as being indigenous. They're Chinese. Fuck off.
I don't really care. I just care about my race, black people and brown people growing.
She only cares about her race, black people, and brown people growing. This is racism. Why is this acceptable in society? White people who say this shit are rightfully called out for it. And again, I'm not on your side on white pride. I don't give a shit about white pride. I don't give a shit if all the colors mix together and we finally get just one color and nobody has to deal with race shit again. But I don't understand why, if this was a white person saying this, that it's bad. But since it's a brown person saying it, it's fine. You do not fix racism with more racism. That is a really stupid Western idea.
I don't care about you. You will build a border, you will build a wall, we will dig under it. And if you close what's under it, we will dig on top.
She gonna dig on top of the wall, y'all. What? You build a wall, we're gonna dig under it. And if you build under it, we're gonna dig on top of it. Kind of hard to believe that the Indians didn't have a Western civilization without Europeans coming over with wonderful philosophy like that. We don't dig on top of that wall. This is the level of intelligence you're dealing with modern activists, man.
Are you against borders?
I am.
So no borders.
I don't think we should have a border here. I think it should be controlled, yes. I don't think anyone should come in.
How are we going to control it if there's...
I don't believe in borders. I think we should have a border that's controlled, which is only slightly smarter than her saying she was going to dig on top of a wall.
There's no border.
So there it is. Morons everywhere. And you know what? I think I will just jump into the two ladies I wanted to talk about. We're not going to watch the videos from these, um, because they highly annoyed me, and we'll be here for days. First up, first my Chargers won. Yay! All right, we can move on past that. Where is that? Changed my mind. There it is. Okay, so I watched a Steven Crowder change my mind, and by watch I mean I watched the first clip, the first person he had on there, which is this tub of love here, who is arguing with him. He said all illegals should be deported. Changed my mind. And what they talk about is hardly at all about deporting illegals. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is because of the way the conversation goes. It is one of them where I almost want to do it, but I can't take more Steven. There's a reason I only watched the first person on this. I can only take Steven in doses, and I've had my dose today. But it's absolutely amazing to watch this argument. She's in college for a social worker degree. And like at one point they're talking, and Steven says that the illegals are a drain on the system. And she goes, that sounds like you're saying they don't pay any taxes. And he goes, what? That sounds like you're saying they don't pay taxes. No, nobody said that. And she goes, it seems like that's what you're implying. Okay. There's tons of different taxes that get paid, like sales tax, right? Do illegals pay sales tax? Yeah, they do. Do they put more into the system than they take out? No, not by a long shot. Because do you know how many candy bars you have to buy to make up for your child's education? Pumpkin Trucker, thank you. My wife, Eastern Band Cherokee, is listening to this broad. Her very first question was, who the fuck is Princess Imaho? Thinks she is. We lost Welcome to the World. And that's true. That's true. And tell your wife I said, hey. Frosted, thank you. I crunched the numbers using Grok, and without abortion, the black population of the U.S. would be 40% higher. And if us non-Indians do get wiped out, we should have mutually assured destruction and leave behind some special blankets. Just judging on the numbers alone, at a bare minimum, without abortion, the black population is doubled. About half as many black kids since 1973 have been aborted as have been born. That's doubling right there. And then if you take all of those who since then would have had grandchildren, children, it probably would be up 70 to 80% if we're being honest. But Margaret Sanger didn't like black people, so you know how it is. But thank you, Frosted. I appreciate it. But yeah, this woman, she can we get to the end? I don't want to watch her full segment. But Steven is talking with her. I will just jump in here.
In social work.
I still don't know what it is that you do. Tell me what it is that you do.
In social work.
Yes.
So social work, by definition, we try to work with the person and understand where they are coming from, how they have formed that opinion, and then how we can either agree, disagree, reach commonality. So that's why I was asking you questions about your wife and why you called her your lady and how that was.
Well, the question she asked him about his wife, it wasn't the your lady thing. He just mentioned my lady, and she's like, that sounds possessive. Quick poll. How many people in chat have a problem with a man or a woman referring to their significant other as my? Like I mentioned my wife, my woman. That's my woman over there. And you know what? She calls me her man because I am her man. But give me a 1 if you have a problem with is that too possessive? Give me a 1 if you think it's normal. Give me a 2 if you're like, that's so possessive. Okie, thank you. What I'm hearing is that black chicks, what does it say? Fuck score? Black chicks fuck score. I don't even know what that means. Thank you for the donation. But anyway, that's not what she asked him. The part of this conversation where she asked about his wife is what he was saying, that people who come in this country should have to speak the language. And she goes, why would you say that? And he goes, because even my wife, or my, not wife, a woman, my woman says that people who come to this country should have to speak English. And apparently he's dating a Latina right now. I don't know anything about his private life. But this bitch shoots back with, do you speak her language? That was her trying to come to an understanding, to come to commonality with Steven. Because he said, if you live in this country, you should speak English where him and his woman live. And this chick's answer was, do you speak her language? Well, she speaks English, so yes. She's in the United States and she speaks English. I don't know what to tell you, lady. I don't see what the win was there, what she was getting at. Because it was really insane. It was a moment that made me go, what?
Was a little possessive, and that's why I got a little offended, because you were interrupting me before I could finish articulating my thought process.
She whines about getting interrupted constantly throughout this. Okay, I don't want to say constantly. Near the end, which is where we're at, she whines constantly about him interrupt. She interrupts him constantly through the thing. They both are doing it to each other. But you'll find this out with people like, will you let me speak? Will you let me speak? They tend to be some of the most interrupting people ever. Those are the ones that always are like, will you let me speak? You interrupted me. Like, I didn't interrupt you. I was answering your question. You asked me a question and I answered it. And that's how the conversation goes. But you interrupted me.
I was trying to understand who you are and where you're coming from where you're coming from with this argument. That way we could have a productive conversation.
Now you have to understand, the reason I wanted to highlight her is that word right there. Productive conversation. She sits down at this table called Change My Mind and says from the very beginning, I don't think I can change your mind, and I don't think you can change mine. But she was trying to have a productive conversation. Productive conversation is another one of those things that pops up when you argue with somebody when they're losing, or you call them out on their bullshit. Like, but I thought we were having a productive conversation. And in their mind, what productive means is you agree with me.
But when you continue to throw stats and you have a very circular argument, it's very hard to understand who.
Oh shit! I was hoping we'd get the circular argument part. The circular argument in this case is Steven says they're a drain on the tax system. They're not paying as much in as they might be putting in with whatever taxes they're paying. And she says, you make it sound like they're not paying taxes. And he says, I didn't say that. What I said is they're taking more out of the system than they're putting in. And she says, that's a circular argument. And the fact that he used stats to show her he was right about this, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. Why would you give me the sources that back up what you say? This lady is I believe, going for her master's right now in social work. At the very least, going for her bachelor's, and she calls herself a social worker. I forget. I think they describe it at the beginning exactly how far she's gone into her education. But in her world, backing up your opinion with facts and statistics is circular argument worthy of getting offended at. You know, because she wants to have a productive conversation. Munchkin, I need you to be out here in the void with me so that people know there are smart women.
who you are as a person and achieve a productive conversation. I can have a conversation with you, but I don't have to agree with you.
Of course.
But it seems very disrespectful when you continue dominating the conversation. And
When you point out that I'm wrong, you're dominating the conversation. She is a circular argument. You're not wrong, Frosted.
I don't get a chance to do what I came here to do.
Okay. May I present a suggestion? When you say listening to people and finding out where they're coming from, perhaps when you ask questions, listening to the answers and taking an interest in the reasoning, the rationale, the logic behind it, and not misrepresenting what they say, that would help. That would serve you better as a social worker.
He's not wrong. The other woman that annoyed me was on the Whatever podcast, and I only watched it because there was an Asmongold clip, because I can't take Andrew Wilson. God, I fucking hate that guy. He is so annoying. But the woman he was arguing with, 100 times worse. Makes this chick look like an intelligent woman. And she did the same thing. She, instead of actually addressing anything Andrew says or anything Andrew has said, she just makes up shit about him. She just like, you said this. And he goes, no, I didn't. And she goes, well, you said this. And what Steven's talking about here is the argument there. Because again, all his argument is that they are not putting as much into the system as they're taking out. And she's like, you said they don't pay taxes. And he's like, I didn't say that.
Because I don't think you've
Could
listened
you
to a lot.
elaborate on that?
Well, what I mean is if you ask me my opinion, and then I answer and you go, that's interesting, that sounds possessive, or that sounds...
Well,
what
yes,
term you
I
use?
think that to the
That's
ordinary person, identifying your lady as my lady would sound possessive. But
You just called her his lady. You said identifying your lady as my lady sounds possessive. Say that sentence again slowly, lady, and think about it. Calling your lady my lady is possessive. Okay.
maybe that's a cultural norm that I'm not accustomed to.
Sure, I'm sure you're not. But is that relevant to the...
Okay, that was a little mean, Steve. That was a little mean. Just because she has no personality, she's stupid and fat, doesn't mean she can't get laid, all right? I'm sure she's been many people's lady for a couple of minutes in a dark room where they lie about what happened. Because women never say my man. Yeah, I like when my wife calls me my man. Or her, she calls me her man. Like, damn right I am.
Point in the answer, because
You're very sassy.
you interrupted to say that offends me rather than listening. So do you not listen to people who come in and seek your social work the same
No,
way?
I promise I do.
Just
But
not here.
I came here to have a productive conversation, and usually when I encounter someone in my field, they are also looking to have a productive conversation.
Usually when I talk to people who've been indoctrinated in the same education system as me and has the same ideas as me, we have a productive conversation because they want a productive conversation, and so do I. These people don't know how to deal with any kind of challenge in their lives. They can't even have conversations. This is Steven Crowder, this milquetoast motherfucker. He didn't even say anything mean. Okay, that was just kind of a mean little joke he made at her. But he wasn't like bearing down on her and like, don't shut up, listen to me, listen. He wasn't doing an Andrew Wilson. This is Steven Crowder, for fuck's sake. And he's just like, they don't put in as much money as they take out. And she's like, you dominated the conversation.
But the way that you throw in the little tidbits that are demeaning, the way you have very circular argument, and you throw stats.
Again, not a circular argument. And you threw stats. Okay. First, let's acknowledge lies, damn lies, and statistics. Yes, statistics can be manipulated. And if that's your argument against them, is that, hey, those stats you just gave me are manipulated. Here's the context which they were actually taken in. That's an argument. But you use stats. It's not an argument. It's not. How dare you have statistics? That's domineering. If you think the facts are wrong, challenge the facts. Don't just be there like, hey, you said numbers and they confuse me and I'm a chick.
That's what makes me a little apprehensive to continue speaking with you.
I'm just trying to understand, is the tidbit that was demeaning the phrase "my lady"?
No, it's the little side comments that you sneak in when you're having conversations like this. You're a very sassy
Like
individual.
what? I said "my lady."
Just a second here. I got a donation. She's going to tell us what it is, and it's actually really funny. Crowder's anal polyp. Thank you so very much. Here's an idea. Stand next to your wife with friends. Call her my woman. Then all her this bitch. Oh, then call her. There's a typo with an X and it threw me off. Sorry. Then call her this bitch. Guess which one will get you cut, right? No wife wants to be like this bitch over here to hear that from her man while they're standing next to each other. But anyway, here we go.
You said that was offensive. What else?
Well, when I said that maybe that's a cultural norm that I'm not accustomed to, you said, well, I wouldn't expect you to. And
Her example of it is something that happened 20 minutes into the conversation. She didn't have any of the other, and it was a snarky little comment he made. But this is what dealing with people like this is like. And I've dealt with so many of them. If they can find something else to talk about, right? Instead of dealing with the circular argument, which by this point he'd already argued that this wasn't circular, he pointed it out. Instead of dealing with something real, now she's like, but you made a little mean comment just a second ago. And so that just shows that you're kind of sassy. And I don't really, we can't have a productive conversation because you said that 20 minutes into this conversation that wasn't productive to begin with because I won't listen to a word you say. She literally takes him complete. There's one point in this where I forget what she says he said. And he goes, I didn't say that. And they rewind it and play what was actually said there. And he didn't say it. That's not disrespectful. Taking people out of context, lying about what they said, that's not disrespectful at all. Because in her mind, she's not lying about what he said. He actually said this thing in her mind that she made up. Because it's not about changing his mind. It's not about having a productive conversation. It's about saying, you're a bad man. You're a bad man. Well, Monk, my wife had a sense of humor, but I'd get hit either way. Look, I've said some rude stuff about my wife jokingly, and you guys have heard her on the stream. She gives as good as she gets. But if I were to say it in sincerely, yeah, that's a whole different matter.
And then when we were talking about countries having borders, I said that, yes, I understand that countries have borders. And you said, well, I hope you would.
Oh, wait, I was wrong. Here's where they rewind it. Now, let's listen to her claim again.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to. And then when we were talking about countries having borders, I said that, yes, I understand that countries have borders. And you said, well, I hope you would.
No, that's actually not what I said. We can rewind it. Well, all countries, I don't know if you're aware, like they all have borders and they all have laws,
Yes,
and becoming a
I'm
citizen.
aware that
Mexico
countries
is
have
far
borders.
most lenient policies out there.
Well,
I think maybe you're interpreting.
Now, he was a little snarky there at the beginning, as I'm not sure if you're aware, but countries have borders. And she goes, yes, I'm aware, country have. He did not follow that up with, I would hope you know that. But in her mind, that's what he said, because she didn't actually listen to what was said. In fact, he actually starts talking about how Mexico has a more stringent border policy than we do.
Unfortunately.
I think you paraphrase a lot.
Interesting. Why do you think that?
Because you've
Why do you think I do that thing I've done at least twice?
done it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you not care to elaborate further? It seems like you enjoy hearing yourself talk.
You say snarky stuff. Seems like you enjoy hearing yourself talk.
Well, See, this is what you do. You say you enjoy. Would you like me to speak, or will you then accuse me of dominating the conversation? I think you
I mean, he's got a point. She did say, anyway.
paraphrase a lot, and I think you strawman a lot. And I don't think you've answered a single question. I don't think you presented. I don't think you.
This woman's going to be a social worker. This woman is what part of social work she goes into. I don't know exactly. She could be a social worker who works with hospice care and dealing with families at the end of someone's life, or she could be a social worker who's coming into a situation where a child has been abused. Either way, would you guys trust this bitch just off of what we've seen here to handle any social work problem? To do any meaningful social work?
Presented your opinion on the issue at hand. I think you presented a lot of offenses based on some things that I've said and some things that I haven't. I think you paraphrased yourself into convincing yourself, Savannah, that you have a valid position. And I don't think you do.
So I'm saying that I don't think that anyone should be deported, and you say that I haven't answered any questions.
For the record, she did not say nobody should be deported. Let's talk about who she thinks should be deported. She thinks if somebody commits a crime in Mexico and comes up here, then it could be okay to extradite them back to their country. But that's the only form of kicking people out that she agrees with. If they're in our country and they commit a vile, horrible crime, then we have the means to rehabilitate them. Her word, not mine. Not to punish them, not to incarcerate, just to rehabilitate them. So everybody should be allowed to be here unless they broke a law in another country and came here. And even then, if it's for political stuff, it's fine. Yeah.
You asked me?
That is one. That is one, and I appreciate you answering that.
Would you like to re-ask the other two, and then maybe I can provide further clarity?
Well, because what you...
Actually, I think I am done. I tried to leave earlier. I do appreciate talking with you.
I tried to leave earlier. Stephen tackled her and put her back in that chair.
Thank you
I
very
just
much,
wish
Savannah.
that we could have had a productive conversation.
Yeah, I do as
All
well.
right. I hope that you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too, Savannah. Appreciate it.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Listening helps, Savannah.
I did.
Doesn't that end say it all? He tries to shake her hand. No, thanks. We've ruined women, man. We really have. This is, man. There was nothing productive about any of that. And look, I don't believe when you sit down to these things that is where you change people's minds. But I've told you before, the whole point of online debate, or in this case, the change my mind debate, which is going to be online, is for the audience watching. And I just can't imagine anybody watching this clip of her and being like, oh yeah, she sure showed him. She could have made all kinds of arguments that deporting illegals is wrong, and she doesn't make. The closest she gets to that is they pay taxes. Okay, one, not in the same way the rest of us pay taxes. You have to have a tax ID number in order to pay if you're not a citizen. And while Joe Biden did give out a lot of these tax IDs to illegals, they're not supposed to have them because that is the federal government implicitly supporting them. Many of them have paid taxes under somebody else's social security number. And even if they paid all the good taxes in the world, illegals are still a net drain on the system because they get paid peanuts. I've been told that my food is so cheap because they don't get paid very much. They get education. They get health care. In some places, they get preventative health care. In California right now, they're getting Medi-Cal for every illegal up until January 1st of this coming year. They get to use our roads. They get to use all of our systems. And oh shit, what just happened? You know what? We'll switch to a different. Yeah, that's a kill, baby. Oh, I clicked the wrong link. There we go. Sorry, guys. I got distracted. They are a net drain on us. And that is the point that was being made. And instead of arguing, like, she didn't even make the arguments like, hey, they pick our fruits for us and keep our prices down. There you go. There's baby Phoebe. Look how cute she was. She didn't even do that. She didn't even come up with the most generic of arguments for it. But I tried to have a productive conversation. And I'll just remind you, at the very beginning, she's like, I don't think you can change my mind and I can't change yours. That may be true, but what you can do is make your arguments. And she failed to do that. But don't worry, guys. She's going to be a social worker. She is going to be a social worker who's going to, make life better for everyone. I hate these people. All right. The other one that I mentioned was the Andrew Wilson one. And I don't think we're even going to watch any of this shit. Because it was just such a bad debate. I do recommend you guys tune into part of it, at least for a little while. I don't know this chick that's on the screen with him, but she's what the hell? There we go. She's a feminist, and they're having their discussion, and at some point she goes, "Your wife got 3 baby daddies," which is a criticism of Rachel Wilson. I don't know why. Years and years ago, Rachel Wilson was married, had a baby. Her husband reportedly beat the ever-living shit out of her, and they got divorced. I don't know about her other kids. I don't care. All of it was like 18 years. He's been together with Rachel for 18 years. But this is a talking point that comes up to try to attack him from time to time. Like, hey, you married a single mom and you don't like single moms. And the reason I wanted to bring it up is because it's one of these things that I see happen in debates a lot. It's happened to me many times. It happened to me during the Hunter Avallone debate, where me and him are talking about it, and he's like, you say child predators should be thrown in a wood chipper. And I was like, I didn't say that. But your audience did. And she uses that same thing. Like, your audience says you should never marry a single mom. He goes, I didn't say that shit, though. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because she has it made up in her mind already that Andrew's bad. There's a lot of things to dislike about Andrew Wilson. The fact that he became a stepdad and took care of this woman and her kids, that's not one of the things to attack him over. But it doesn't matter. They weren't even, and to start coming after his wife, to bring up his wife when they're debating feminism, and the part that got me interested in this was Andrew explaining his worldview. And if you go to that timestamp in the thing, let's see, it is Andrew's worldview is at about 4 hours and 2 minutes in. That's where I started watching. Andrew doesn't really explain his worldview. He says it's really hard to explain his worldview, which I don't understand. It's your worldview. You should be able to explain it pretty easily. That, or you should put some more fucking thought into it. But somehow they get from that to your wife has 3 baby daddies. And that's a horrible thing because of some stuff. And then she repeatedly just, you said this, you said that, and it's stuff he didn't say. Look, I do not have a high opinion of this man. But if you're going to talk to him, at least be honest about it. But she's not honest about anything. Her whole thing is like, I heard somebody said the thing. Like at one point, she even goes, your wife is 5 years older than you. He's like, no, she's not. She's 3 years older than me. And she goes, oh, well, I got my information wrong. Don't you think it's possible if you fucked up something that easy? Maybe you fucked up a lot more. But it doesn't matter because the whole point there isn't to actually have a productive conversation or even one that would be productive for those watching. It's just to try to own Andrew. And sweetie, you ain't it. Fuck. Oh shit. What else did I have? There's so much that's gone on in the last few days. I do recommend the Ben Shapiro on trigonometry thing. That was pretty interesting. I don't think you'll agree with everything he says, and nor should you. But if you've seen the clips going around, they are drastically taken out of context. What else do I have? I wasn't online very much yesterday. I was just in so much pain. And it was made worse just because I was tired. This dude, I forgot about him. And when I say him, I mean her with a beard. I got to give it up to the manufacturers of whatever testosterone they're giving these people. They've started to give them what looks more like a real beard.
Max.
Oh, God, that is really quiet. Oh, good. It's not turned up all the way. There we go.
A transgender.
Oh, there we go. All right.
My name is Max. I'm a transgender American.
I'm a transgender American. I get what they're trying to get at, that they're from America and they're transgender, but it just comes off as African American, like it's a race. I'm a transgender American. Oh. Identity above all else.
And today I am leaving the United States indefinitely and moving to Valencia, Spain.
I have no doubt that this person is using the word indefinitely wrong. Once again, indefinitely doesn't mean forever. Indefinitely means I don't know when I'll be back. Indefinitely means I don't know. Time undetermined. But anyway, they're leaving the United States to go to Valencia, Spain.
On my way to Spain, I'm going to be staying with a friend in Vienna, Austria. So I'm going to take tons of videos so that y'all can see what Austria is like. And then I will be going to Valencia. I want to help as many people as possible to get out of the United States. So if you're someone that...
They're running the Under Rainbow Railroad here. I want to help as many people as I can get out of it. Makes it sound like you got to flee, like it's a real challenge to leave the United States, like it's East Germany in the 1970s. Oh my God. I'm trying to help all the peoples to get out of the United States. We're going to go to Spain. Have you paid attention to Spain? Spain's got its issues. You know that, right? Spain's got a lot of issues. You transporting. Stop it.
Is feeling like you need to leave the United States for your safety, please message me.
I kind of want to meet the people who would message this person. I kind of want to message them. I need to get out of the United States. But I want to meet the people who sincerely are like, oh, that chick with the beard, that fat chick with the beard right there can help me escape. The problem is all of those people are 12, and I don't want them anywhere around this guy.
I certainly don't have all of the answers, but I am happy to take time to research and see what possible options there are out there. And if you're someone that knows
Google? You mean if somebody wants to leave the United States, you'll read Google for them? I'm a researcher. I can look stuff up.
of different options, please message me. The countries that I know the most about in terms of visas are Canada, Mexico, and Spain.
If anybody's offering to get you out of the United States, and one of the places they mention they have a lot of experience with visas is Mexico, stop talking to them. Can you imagine being an American and being like, for safety, I'm going to Mexico? Oh, God. All right.
But as a social worker, I am very good at resource navigation.
We have another social worker, ladies and gentlemen. Another split tail, this one with a beard, who's a social worker who's going to get Americans out of America to Mexico, Canada, and Spain. Is it really that hard to Google? Hang on a second. I want to try this myself. As an American, how can I get a visa for, let's pick any random country, Poland. Let's go to Poland. Oh, look at that shit. You don't need one. Oh, that was difficult. I don't even have my degree in social work, and I was able to navigate that all on my own. Why are these people so hyperbolic? Why are they all such drama queens? I mean, besides the estrogen. For fuck's sake.
And so I plan to use what free time I have trying to help people get out.
Well, good luck to you. Spain, she's your problem now. Look how cute Phoebe was. She's beautiful now, but look how cute she was. All right, moving along with this catch-up stream. Oh, let's talk about this one because we haven't discussed it on the show. BBC has been under fire recently because people, I'm not going to say that it came out because it was well known at the time, but they've kind of come under fire recently because it's been pointed out that they took Donald Trump's speech from the Ellipse on January 6th and cut it to make it look like he was telling people to go be violent. Don't worry, guys. It only took 4.5 years for anybody to pay attention to this. And because of it, the BBC head has resigned over doctored footage of Trump's speech in this documentary. That's great. It's awesome that they're like, hey, you did this horrible shit. But this is how all of the news was broadcasting it on January 6th. It's how they were broadcasting on it every day since January 6th. These fuckers have been lying about what was said and how it was said since it happened. But finally, one dude is being held to account for a more recent documentary on it. And people are like, yeah, get him. Get what? This shit is so prevalent in all of the press that I can't get happy that one guy is finally held accountable for it. I mean, I guess it's a good sign. But how many other lies about January 6th have been fight like hell? Fight like hell. If we took a survey of 10,000 people who hate Donald Trump for what happened on January 6th, 10,000 people, guys, how many of them do you think would be able to tell us that there was a planned protest at the Capitol that day with permits and everything? How many of them do you think know that the reason they were marching to the Capitol is because there was a planned, authorized protest there? I'm going to say zero. Fuck it. Make it 1 million. Zero. Because that is not something that the news ever covers. It's not something they ever mention. Which is kind of important because they always make it sound like Donald Trump said, we're going to march there and we're going to get them and I'm going to be there with you. But the whole reason they were marching there is to go to the planned protest. You know, these people who love all their protesting and they're speaking truth to power and shit. How many of them do you think know that there was a planned protest that day? I don't think any of them, honestly. All right, what else do we have? I do think it's funny though that guy lost his job over it. I just don't think it much matters. Rolling Stone magazine commentary. Why do so many young men like Nick Fuentes? Da, 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 da. I'm only pointing this out because notice the source. Rolling Stone. Do you think Rolling Stone, if Nick Fuentes was actually popular, do you think they would be pumping him up? How many articles did they write about why Charlie Kirk was so popular with young men? Corey, thank you. The Giants fired Dablo finally. Not that it will change much. The Giants right now, look, they can fire whoever they want to. I don't think. I think much like with the Chargers, they can luck into a good coach once in a while, and the team management is what fucks everything up, not necessarily the coach. I could be wrong about the Giants. Giants definitely have some talent out there, but it's like the Lions too, man. I feel so bad for Lions fans, especially the younger ones who haven't been around as long as I have. They're like, look, we're doing good right now. I'm like, yeah, the Lions have done good before. As long as the Ford family owns them, you're screwed. Anyway, this is why I hate things like Tucker glazing this little piece of shit. Is because it's giving the false impression that they're manifesting him being popular. They're trying to make this a real thing. And notice who it's coming from. Rolling Stone. You think Rolling Stone is being on the up and up here? You think they really believe that Nick Fuentes is that influential? Or do you think they want people to believe that racist shitbag is that influential? All right. I really wish we'd done a show 2 days ago because this was much more relevant than before the shutdown.
This is having massive impact. I went and got my eyebrows done the other day, and my eyebrow technician was like, they're going to fire 2 technicians from here because all of our clients don't have money to come.
Yep. All of those people who need the food stamps had to stop going to the beauty salon to get their eyebrows did because they had to pay for their own food. You mean she looks like that on purpose? Yeah, I want you guys to understand all the people we've been making fun of with their fucked up eyebrows, some of that has been subsidized by the federal government through food stamps. This is the kind of commentary that made the Democrats finally give in. When you have somebody going, hey, they couldn't go get their eyebrows did because they had to pay for their own food. You're kind of suggesting they could have paid for their own food in the first place. I don't get why people call Nick racist. Because he is. That's why. First world problem. Right? Like these people can't afford food. How they getting their eyebrows did? Because that shit ain't cheap. Ain't nobody going to the beauty salon and paying $10 to get their eyebrows done. And it is affecting this salon so much that they were going to have to lay off 2 of their technicians. That's a lot of money coming in. They're not laying off two technicians because one woman is paying their entire salary. But this woman said this like she was making some point, right? Like, hey, they can't get their eyebrows did, so we have to give them food stamps. At that point, they're eyebrow stamps. Let's be honest. I like luxuries too. I really do. I'm a consumer-driven American. That's my identity. I'm not ashamed of liking consumerism. I'm not ashamed of liking things. I'm not spiritual in that manner. Like, I believe in living on dirt so that I can be clean in the next life. I don't give a shit about any of that. I like stuff. But I don't think you guys should have to give the government money so they can give me money so I can get stuff. I think it's my responsibility to earn the money to get my stuff. I like luxury too, but it's costly. Well, again, it depends on what luxury you're talking. Technically, a $1 candy bar, unless you're somehow starving and that's the only food around, is a luxury. All of these things that people, I mean, we saw this with the Riley Dennis video. I'm going to have to bring that back up one day and just tear into it again. We're like, a refrigerator is a human necessity. It should be a human right. No, a refrigerator, you don't have to like it, but it's a luxury. Most of what we have in our lives is a luxury. You know what you need to live? Air, food, water, and shelter. That's it. If you get sick, you'll need some medicine. But those are your basics. That's it. Everything else is luxury. And when it comes to what kind of food or drink you're having, you need water. You don't need soda. You don't need juice. You don't need energy drinks. You don't need coffee. And when it comes to food, there's very little you actually need of the kind of food we consume. You can live off some pretty nasty food. Everything else is fucking luxury. The lobster argument he made blew my fucking mind. Yeah. In that Riley Dennis video, he argued that you shouldn't be able to tell poor people they can't get lobster on food stamps because they deserve to have lobster too. And we really do. We live in a deserve society. I deserve this. I deserve that. I deserve to have my eyebrows did. No, you don't. You don't deserve shit. Monkey out here with ramen, hot dogs, and ranch. Damn right. You can live off that. I wouldn't recommend it. Your sodium intake's going to be through the roof. I've been starting to eat a little bit better. Purposefully. Avoiding sugars and carbs is not going full on keto or Atkins or whatever they want to call it these days, but just cutting it back because it's not good for me and I'm old and fat. And I want to fit in my jeans again, and they're a little snug at the moment. I weighed myself the other day. I was 208. I bounce between 205 and 215, regardless of what I do. I'd like to get that back down to 2. My BMI tells me I'm supposed to be like 170, and I feel like I would, with my long torso at 170, I would look like Jack would date me if I were a chick. Comrade Kitty, thank you for becoming a member for month number 28. Thanks for reminding me spicy ramen with cheese. Bro, I finally took y'all's advice, and the last time I had a bowl of ramen, I put a slice of Kraft Singles on top, and that shit was pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. Haven't done that in a while. That was like probably a month ago now. I don't eat that much ramen anymore, guys. You know what I'm eating right now mostly? Salad. I love salad. When I was told that I had diabetes, they're like, you're gonna have to learn to love salad. It's still one of the most offensive things anybody said to me. I love the notion that people think fat people don't eat salads. We eat salads. We just eat way too much and put too many croutons, too much dressing on it. We live so luxuriously, some actually choose to eat Ethiopian. Thank you, Adebisi. True. That is a really good point. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right. My final thing I want to talk about tonight is, and it goes back to one of the first things we talked about. We're back to Hasan. So on the screen here, some chick I don't know in the bottom left. Cutie Cinderella over here on the right. She's the one that accidentally told us that Hasan did have a shot collar. And up here on the top is Ludwig. Now, Ludwig is a friend of Hasan's, but he doesn't care about Hasan. Then he took that back. And he is dating Cutie Cinderella here. They've been together for a long time. Cutie Cinderella goes to Hasan's house every day, I'm guessing to play German. But this is a conversation they had on a stream the other day, and well,
Hasan.
Naughty.
Hasan is naughty.
Addicted
Yeah.
to Zins.
Addicted to Zins, posts his package online, tells his friends to
Disgusting.
look at it.
Ew.
He also, during Fear and, he put on his costume and he came in and he said, "You can see my dick in this." And I said, "Hasan, I'm not looking." And then he proceeded to hump the air and he said, "Look." And I said, "I'm not looking."
Anybody surprised? Anybody surprised that Hasan is a dirty little shitbag? Telling his friend's girlfriend to look at his dick and humping the air? That would be weird if Ludwig was there with him. If he had been there with him and Hasan is just doing it for the whole room instead of, for her. Being like, look at my junk. But you're doing that with another dude's girlfriend, a friend of yours, girlfriend in the room. And Ludwig's reaction here is actually what we're here about.
That's crass.
And then Will did the same.
Your reaction to your girlfriend telling you that another man was telling her to look at his dick is to say, that's crass. That's as much as you can muster to your girlfriend telling you that he was waving his junk at her and telling her to look at it. And this is another time she doesn't think she's telling a really horrible story about Hasan. She just thinks that's so funny. He goes on the naughty list for that. It's the same as him doing Zins. Doing Zins is the same as telling your friend's girlfriend to look at your dick. What is wrong with these people? How is this so normalized? How is this just what they expect? Frank, thank you so much. We cut out the middleman this way. YouTube wouldn't let me say that. This is way after the fact now, but I said it. Government still steps in and takes from you, but only after. Only after what? Sorry, Frank, I'm a little confused by they only step in after. Bread tubers practice prima nocta. Apparently. Let me tell you right now, if I were on stream right now and Lady Monkey is telling me that some dude who's supposedly my friend was telling her, this is when I'm finding out he's telling her to look at his dick. We're done with the stream because me and him are having a conversation right then. Me and him are going to discuss how if he ever says that to my woman again, I am going to hurt him. You can't just be like, crass. Bro, have some pride, man. And you, cutie, you cried because somebody made some fake porn about you. You cried, oh my God, I can't. But his friend being like, look at my dick, that's nothing to you. You're just like, fucking have fun. You do Zins and this. You're so naughty. But they're all afraid to call that dirty man out, man.
Same thing. They both really
Blood,
wanted me to see their.
You don't think it's
penises.
weird that Cutie's female friends are trying to make her look at their penises?
Or you mean her
You
male
mean
friends?
Male
Her
friends.
male friends. Sorry, that is what I meant.
Yeah. And
You don't think it's weird that her friends are trying to make them look at their penis? Oh, yeah. Man, what would you have to do to upset this guy? What do you have to do to make him upset, honestly? Your woman just told you that two different dudes were like, look at my dick. And you're like, yeah, that's crass. What's up, Jack?
Yeah, let's go. I heard we were showing our wieners to chicks. So
No. You misunderstood.
No. Oh, that's on Hasan's stream. Or behind the scenes.
If I'm Hasan, I have somebody shut this woman up because this is twice now she's accidentally exposed him for being a shitty person.
Yeah, don't worry. He'll probably have her killed. His dad has a ton of money. Why are there 2 stream screens?
Because there's a new feature on StreamYards. I'll tell you about it afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, we're never doing it again.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I saw his reaction and his lack of reaction. Let's be honest. I was just like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's getting to the point I don't believe they're a couple.
Yeah, because it's kind of weird.
I mean, you were just told, not just Hasan, but the other guy she mentions too. Both of them are like, look at my dick. And your action was, yeah. I don't even know what to say.
He might be jealous that he didn't get a look at Hasan's wiener.
Yeah, I would understand jealousy kicking in at some dude trying to, but not because you wanted to see it, but because that's your woman.
Yeah, that part I would understand, but he had zero affect. That's why maybe he was like, he didn't do that to me.
Why? I like this view on my phone. Do you really? Because look at how small the video is there, though. I mean, I suppose. All right, tell you what, y'all hit me up if you like this view. I can continue doing it. It doesn't hurt me at all. I feel bad because I feel like I'm ignoring the other chat over there. There's a relationship past and being passed around I don't respect either. There's lines you don't cross. There's lines you don't cross, and telling your friend's girlfriend to look at your dick is one of them. That's not even a hard one.
Yeah, that's not a friend. That's a dude trying to bang your girlfriend or wife.
Yeah. So go ahead.
You know, iDubbbz, his wife, and Taylor Lorenz are like, why did you do that for me?
Oh, of course, yeah. Taylor's like, describe it to me.
Do you have any pictures?
But that's it, guys. That's where we're wrapping up tonight on Cuckboy there. I don't get it. I don't. I try not to be too possessive, Jack, because I don't want to be that guy. But there does come a line. There does come a line where you're just like, no, you're not doing that show with him anymore. If you want to be with me, you cannot be somewhere where there's a guy telling you to look at his dick when I'm not around.
Yeah, at what point do you have the self-respect or respect for your girlfriend to say, I don't tolerate this kind of behavior?
Yeah.
That's just gross. I mean, that she's insulting you, she's demeaning herself by going back there, and it looks like there's something going on if she keeps going back to the guy that tried to show her wiener to him. She has no respect for anybody at that point.
And for anybody, like, you're sexist and possessive, man. No. If Lady Monkey was like that, like some chick is like, look at my camel toe, and Lady Monkey was like, don't go around her. I'd be like, I'm not going around her.
Yeah,
because I have respect for my wife.
Yeah, you have respect for your wife, the years of the relationship, everything you've done together. But in your case, your kids. So yeah, that's just gross, and I don't know, man. I would have serious problems with that.
Yeah, me too. I seeing he doesn't like even blink at it. He's like, cool.
Yeah, he's just like, whatever, man. Real quick, thank you,
That's crass.
Yeah, who says that? Thank you, Adabisi. Hello, Jack. Just the tip. Well, thank you, Adabisi. Hope you're having a good one.
You know who says that? Somebody who's watching along and isn't personally involved. Saying that what Hasan did there is crass, that is an acceptable reaction. being the guy, the boyfriend of the chick that was said to, and saying that's crass is so bitch. That is so bitch. Like, I better not say nothing. It'll upset Hasan.
It's super mega bitch. I mean, you're pretty much just pimping out your girlfriend if you're gonna put up with that shit. He doesn't care for his girlfriend at all. He has no respect for her, and she apparently doesn't respect herself. But they just don't respect each other, their relationship. That chick is almost certainly banging Hasan then.
Were you paying attention to Rumble Chat, Monk? Yeah. What, did I miss something over there? Salad unsubscribed. How dare you, Brand? I love salad. I had a salad before the show. Just a nice garden salad with grape tomatoes. It was wonderful.
Did you have ranch dressing on it?
Of course.
You love
it's
ranch
a salad.
Yeah.
The only salad that, look, there's two salads I don't put ranch dressing on. One is a taco salad because that's sacrilege. And the other one is a Big Mac salad because you have to have Thousand Island for it to be a Big Mac salad.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll give you that one.
All other salad, yeah, ranch dressing. Fruit salad, yes.
Ew.
I'm just fucking with you. I've never had ranch dressing on fruit salad. I just thought it'd be funny.
Gonna say.
I beat you to it. I beat you to it, Shark. All right, guys, wrapping up here. Sorry, Jack, you got me right at the end here. We're at 2:06.
No, that's my fault. I fell asleep. The cat woke me up, or I wouldn't be here at all.
What's a Big Mac salad? It is lettuce, onion, pickles, hamburger, cheese, and Thousand Island dressing. It's all the stuff that would be on a Big Mac, but in a salad form without the bread. Potato salad, nope. But I do make my potato salad with Miracle Whip because it's better that way.
Huh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are so very kind. Jack, anything else, Shill?
No, I'm good. I just got here, so I didn't earn it.
You could fucking chill, dude. Put your damn video in the thing. By the way, guys, you can find all of his links down below. Cougar Knife says, I've learned so much. Well, that's what this show is. This is an educational show. Although, for streaming purposes on the different platforms, it's listed as an entertainment show.
Well, entertainment can be informative.
It's edutainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Jack, a pleasure as always, even if, sorry it was so short.
Yeah, it's what it is. Always glad to be here, though. Thanks
guys,
for the tip, NBC.
Take care of yourselves. We love you, and we will see you on the next one. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Here's a song at the end of the show, sung by a monkey who has a really pretty penis, but I won't make you look at it because I'm not Hasan, who's a douchebag.